Right, hello, here we are. Episode number 2, Mexican Law. We got Native Gaming and Smoky Butter Gaming, both on Twitch. If you want to click on the ads below, follows are easily accessible. If one of you wants to start, we'll just introduce yourself, what character you play, and basically how you got into roleplay.
Hola. Hello, everyone. I play Rafael Cortez, the leader of the Mexican gang on GoldrushRP. My RP journey started actually on another complete different game called DayZ. I used to very much so enjoy a good DayZ run, very immersive type run, first person, gathering supplies and food. That slowly trickled into me watching a lot of wild RP videos. And ever since then, I found Gold Rush and I've been hooked. I think now 2 years. I started, if not the ending of 2.0, the start of 3.0, and it's been a wild ride. I've been addicted ever since. I started off RPing a Comanche, Native American Comanche for the first year. Then I made I think my most well-known character, Miles. Miles was a lawman for a few months, and then he trickled down, turned into somebody completely different, and then became a one of the gang members of the O'Driscoll gang, which was Mafia on his Billy character and
Oh
a
God.
few other guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did a whole bunch of moonshine and swamp grows and stuff. It was just a lot of good RP, a lot of good criminal RP dishing out to the server and to law. I mean, we weren't really official. It was just a group of guys, doing crime. But yeah, and then 4.0 came up. I saw them whole Mexican lore, and well, I'm half Hispanic. My mother's Colombian, so I was like, let me go ahead and try to help out the server as much as I can by creating a Mexican character, and it's what I plan on doing for the rest of the 4.0 year is to RP this Mexican bandito as best and as best as I can for the server.
Yeah. Smokey, what about you?
Hey, ¿qué pasó, amigas and amigos? Hola. Yeah, man. I'm Smoky Butter. I play Victor Cortez. I'm a federality for the Mexican Army. I play as a general. Things started for RP for me is kind of like a similar trait to native. I started off on a laptop playing Arma 2 and RPing as a UN soldier, checking people in at the borders and stuff. So it's kind of funny. I'm doing that now on Red Dead, but it's came a long way from watching like Frankie on 1080 PC and doing his stories of his RP through DayZ and and it kind of just, I kind of found 5M and did law RP for a really long time. And then once I seen that Red Dead Redemption had RP, man, I got hooked like a really bad drug, man. And
Yeah.
I found Gold Rush pretty early on, and early 1.0, right when it first started, like where it was the most hardest to survive, a piece of bread and water, man, barely got you anywhere. And it's Gold Rush has been has been one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. The RP coming into 4.0 has changed so much. I gotta say, coming in at the end of 3.0 to see Native really taking on this role to take on this Mexican lore really grabbed my attention, and I seen it coming down to 3.0, how like the territory and the lore was coming together, and I was like, dude, I I gotta jump in here. I gotta get a part of this and get this story going. And we chased it, and I'm loving it so much, man. It's so great to be a part of something that's unique and that's top tier, to be able to like provide a story, and I honestly see it as a lantern. Other people can see it and take on this RP and go. I've always gone by the example of like Vertigo Gaming and Wild RPers, and have really like studied the way that they role play and kind of really get into it, you know. But RP, you know, really started kind of small for me, and like you know, different games like I said, Arma and Daisy, and I trickled my way into 5M and Red M, and once I touched those, man, I got so lost in it, man. Just get so immersed in creating stories, and I've had so much fun playing Victor, being the Hermano of Rafa. It's been such a tear dropping story, and to hear the story of like a starving Mexico and the way that we've portrayed our characters as coming up, um, with our mother being a person who worked for the federalities, and our father being a simple farmer of the pueblos of Mexico, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
their
yeah,
connection to come together was amazing. And it's showing a story, you know, Mexico, and it's bringing all these people together. Um, and it just shows the pure talent, you know, everybody has in Mexico as their own roles, sharing their story. And I think that's the big thing that we want people to do is to really get immersed in your story.
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes.
So like here's my view on like I've watched Native a little bit. I don't watch too much because I'm a crim. They're doing crime, whatever, right? There's going to be overlap eventually. But from my point of view, you guys have a clean slate with Mexico because there's the war, right? The war happens in 3.0. Mexico is invading, right? And then from our point of view, right, Mexico gets fucked and gets pushed back, and they get caught, and then whatever happens, right? You guys actually are starting off with zero. It's not like sure your characters spawn in with like the same shit as everybody else, but story wise, uh, Mexico's fucked. It's got nothing. You guys have zero, right? Like you guys for the start of 4.0, did you guys even have like storage over there? Like how was 4.0 the very start of it in that part of the map for you guys?
It was rough, my man. It was rough. We didn't even have a bridge. So if we spawned in Chuparosa, which was sorry, if we spawned in Mexico, it was a deserted wasteland. Like we did
Yeah.
have a storage, we did have a general store, but it was very minimal stuff. We didn't have any supplies, no no animals to hunt. We still don't, but on
Yeah.
top of that, we just didn't have any like Mexico wasn't sustainable. We couldn't be self-sufficient in Mexico. We had to cross to the U.S. in order to live, to not die. And
Yeah.
it was pretty rough for the first few weeks living in Mexico. Yes.
Gotta swim across the border.
so here's a question for you. Did you like have this plan at the end of like? Did you plan this the whole time, knowing what was coming at the end of 4.0, 3.0, and then into 4? Or did you just like wonder what you were gonna do, and then all of a sudden go, "Oh, yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the Mexican RP." Did it just work
So
out perfectly for you?
yeah, so I'm pretty sure Smokey's journey was a little bit different than mine. I actually took a massive break from Gold Rush prior to 4.0 launching. I had no idea that 4.0 was launching that soon. I saw a trailer, the Mexican lore trailer, and I think I was at the gym and I saw it and I was like, oh, I guess it's time for me to come back.
Like a calling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I took,
Gondor calls for aid.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't part of any of the 3.0 ending finales. I sadly, since I was traveling a lot. I'm part of the event staff, so I probably would have been, a Mexican character attacking the towns and
Oh,
whatnot.
you'd have been throwing TNT and mollies at everybody all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm really sad I wasn't able to partake in that, but I did see a lot of streams, and it was beautiful to see how the community emerged together to defend their homeland and whatnot. That's pretty badass. But no, dude, it honestly just I stopped playing Miles for a little bit after Billy stopped playing his Driscoll character, and I just kind of like went off on a traveling spree IRL, and I wasn't gaming, and then I saw this, and I was like, okay, I have to think of a story that's gonna bring me back to RP, and I sat down and I brainstormed a lot of narco type characters, especially from like the Narcos Mexico, and I would say, okay, how do I put this guy in a 1900 1800 time frame.
Yeah.
And that's where the story originated from, which later on we'll get more into his specific story.
Yeah, of course, no big spoilers, like, obviously, because like, stories are ongoing and, people find out in RP, right? But
Yes.
Smokey, how about you? How did this fall in your lap?
Yeah, man. See, I've been ongoing playing a character for 3 years on Gold Rush. His name was Wyatt Ferguson. I for about a year and a half, I played a game warden for a really long time, and I was doing that for a long time. Wyatt Ferguson did a lot of law. It was just did a lot of law, and was a little mixture. You'd always get caught into accidentally shooting somebody for some type of reason that was justified. But after he getting put on judicial hold. I was, I
wait,
started
as
to
law?
see.
Hold on. Do you
Yeah,
put on JD as law?
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, buddy, that's fucking, that's
Yeah,
rough
Wyatt
right there.
Ferguson's fucked, dude. I'm pretty sure I shot and killed Pablo Sanfrisco or something like that, whatever his name was. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, it's so that happened, and then like I said, man, I started to study the Wallaby Kid. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that story of Vertigo and the way that he does the story of Wallaby Kid, and I really got like just started studying like the way that they enhance their RP through slash me's and slash dudes, and I was like, dude, when I seen like Nick Native said, when I seen that trailer come for the lore, and then I started seeing like all the streams at the end of 3.0. I was like, okay, I'm making a Mexican character and I'm going to go to every checkpoint and hang a Mexican flag and start cutting fucking animals up and hanging their guts and just yelling via Mexico. And like, and I probably went through like three characters at the end of 3.0. Some got shipped off to Cisco and one got perma killed by Nala. And then eventually I was able to settle down into finding the perfect picture, and that was Victor Cortez. And it did kind of fall into my lap a little bit. But it all was so organic.
Yeah.
The entire group that we have is one of the most unique groups I've ever been a part of. From like a criminal side to even a professional side. And like I said, that's it. I didn't really have like this set in stone. Like this is what I'm gonna come into. I was kind of trying to figure out what I was gonna do with Wyatt Ferguson. So
Yeah.
but then Victor came in place, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be golden, man. You got two brothers coming out of Mexico. One joins the Mexican army, and Rafa, the leader of a rebellion, and they're both to exploit the borders to being able to smuggle and get things across, in the honor of their country. And it just happened to fall in place, and then the community got behind it, and we just been able to create something magnificent. Like it's so beautiful to get so immersed in the story.
See,
I think that's the big point.
I also think that, like, all RP is, predominantly, crims versus cops, right? But I feel like from what I've seen in character and what I've seen through, like, chilling and watching streams, like, Mexico is like a third faction, right? You don't think that Mexico is like it's like, there's criminals and there's law and there's Mexico. Whether you're a criminal in Mexico or not, there's like this third faction almost. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that I've been trying to push on my character, is that we're different. I really want Victor to boom up his federales. I want us to have to fear him, right? I want
Yeah.
us to have to fear him in our own country. That adds another aspect of it. That adds another avenue of motion to our characters in Mexico, because it's a very conflictive brotherly love that we have. But
Mhm.
not to spoil it, but it's him flourishing in his military aspect will bring the storyline to its cream of the crop later on.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Be out to get you. Be out to get you, hermano.
yeah, it's
You're gonna get
awesome.
across the border with the drugs.
So obviously, like I watch you two. I love the Mexican RP. It's decent, and obviously I want all the meta. Obviously. It is something that a lot of people saw you were doing and like wanted to be involved real quick? Like, did you notice that yourself?
So never did I ever think that I was going to be in this position that I am today. Let's start off with that. Never.
Did you never see Cortez being like, the leader?
No.
You just thought, I'm gonna play a Mexican. I'm gonna,
No. My plan with that was
criminal.
my plan with that was to have my brother RP as a bandit from Mexico. A peasant who doesn't know anything, who can barely write, who's an alcoholic, who stumbles upon himself how drunk he is, who has this idea of someone that is a human being who he believes that is a god. I never had him being at the top of where he's at right now. It has all happened to a place where it's like, I think that it has been, like Victor mentioned, it's been a lantern in the darkness for a lot of people, right? Like the whole, like we all, whether it be in real life or in a game, we want to be part of something,
Yeah.
and I think that Mexico allows a lot of lost souls in character to be a part of something worth fighting for, something worth struggling for, and it just sets you up in a better role to fight for something instead of you having to go out, which is it's doable. It's doable. You guys do it. It's just I think it's an easier way for someone who wants to be part of a gang worth fighting for. It's
Yeah.
easier when Mexico is already fighting America. It's on paper already. You don't have to make that paper up. The paper's already there for you.
Yeah, like the foundation's there for anybody who wants to like make a Mexican, right?
Yes.
Because I don't know whether you guys know, but end of 3.0, I missed the first sort of 5-6 days of 4.0 because I was away traveling. So whenever Carter end of 3.0 in like the St. Lee shootout, right? And then I was allowed to have 2 dead Mexicans be with me whenever I spawned in 4.0. So Carter starts 4.0 downed with 2 dead Mexicans, right? That are like permid, like Benji made one of the characters, and Ali, who plays Bobby Burke, made one of the characters, law involved, right? So from my character's point of view, there's 2 types of Mexicans, right? There's the ones that invaded and want to invade and want to push, and then there's just normal Mexicans, right? So with that, my character is very wary of any Mexicans.
You should be, amigo. You should be.
I've already ran into a few of them. I've already ran into a few of them, but fuck, I forgot I was going to go there. Fuck. With that, do you worry, right, that because you're playing Mexicans, people who have characters continued from 3.0 just see you as just see you as like the enemy no matter what? Like, do you worry that that's
Listen, I'll answer this one. Okay.
yeah. You know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
Yeah. So in my character, like in character, I took a trip to Mexico, and I have a little chat with the Mexicans, and that's something that comes up. Hang on a minute. How are we supposed to see this when all this has happened, and then like then the RP comes into play, right? Like you can see it whatever way you want to, like from their point of view, they can spin it. It's just RP. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying, Nate? Don't you?
Yeah, I do, and I can add in my little tints of salt if you guys would like. Regarding this, so yeah, my characters.
I guess what I'm trying. Sorry, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are you worried that no matter where you are, how strong you guys are, weak you guys are, just because of like the story of 3.0, are you worried that people will not give the RP a go and will start you at you guys are invaders, nothing else? Fuck the Mexican RP. Those characters.
Yeah, I mean it's not a worry, it's just something that we have to deal with due to the lore of 4.0. You know what I mean? I think it's something that we all no, we're aware of, and my goal is to have a flourishing Mexico citizen community, non-crime, also a lawful Mexico community, in the federales. And then there's my gang, the ones who actually did take part in the attack, did take part in the attack on Sisika, and it's what I don't want is for a regular citizen of Mexico to get, to feel that, like, oh, just because you're coming across, like, and it's up to them, and they already know that, they have to do their best to show their character, to show their positivity, to show that they're not like the bandidos and Rafael and his gang, so it's yeah, it's a hit that we both have to take, both sides of Mexico.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, we've been doing it pretty good for it.
That's kind of the balance, right? Because the law itself gave you so much in terms of like direction in the beginning, but you also get the balance of like it's going to give you a little bit of pushback as well. Like, so for instance, like the way the law played out for my character was like it was so easy to push roleplay in a certain direction as a crim. Like, going out and robbing people was like, I'm poor. I'm a criminal. I'm a thief. I'm trying to survive. Yeah, so easy. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't at that point go and rob someone. Whereas you've got to just play an asshole that robs people if the law's not there. So like the law of the server going into 4.0, I think it's been amazing. Do I think people have taken advantage of it to its fullest? No, probably not. But like some of us have, right?
Yeah.
And then that obviously other people are gonna. So say you use the law of Mexico to like build what you want to build, yeah, or start you off in the direction of what you want to build. Other people are going to use that law to push them in a direction, whether it's hating the Mexicans, then that's still pushing them in their direction without actual reason other than the law. So it's bound to happen, right? Win some, you lose
Yeah.
some and stuff.
Yeah, like I decided on playing a criminal character, and I'm trying to show the server that crime has more meaning than just riding out in a group of six and finding some items to rob. Something meaningful behind it. And like I said, this whole Mexican thing gives you a reason. Just how Benji mentioned that when everyone started in 4.0, we were all starving and hungry. Who wouldn't go out robbing for food? It's kind of like that Mexican idea. We don't have anything in our country. What do you expect us to do? I come across here and you already expect for me to be what I am. So here it is. Voila. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Surprise Pikachu face. Yeah.
Yeah. My thing is I want to I'm doing try to do my best for going out and bringing people that have suffered on the American side, RP wise, to get them to start something in Mexico, because I do want a healthy non-crim community in Mexico. I think it would be really good for the server and for Mexico too.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say with like you obviously want to build up the civilian side. Do you think people who come into like making a Mexican civilian over the border maybe travel like to Armadillo or Blackwater like very rarely, like they're mainly in their own zone? Do you think that they should expect hard RP in the sense of like you probably won't be playing the character that's like a fucking rich person? You should be looking at fucking potatoes and fucking gravy. You mean like I don't want to say basic RP, but like you wouldn't expect to find anybody who's like hyper rich. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that like if someone's coming to make a civilian, it should be a hardship start and then real slow pace? Like, well, if you were a civilian, how about this? If you were both civilians, what way would you make a civilian into Mexico currently?
So I get what you're saying, Ajax, and this comes down to the meat and potatoes of the RP at the moment. If I build my character in Saint Denis, that person has the flourishing capabilities and the opportunities to be that rich person.
Yeah.
Now, if I do this in Mexico after a war, not having resources, having to deal with the oppression of the federales, having to deal with the bans of crossing the river and all that stuff, and the hardships, I'm not going to be able to RP someone wealthy, someone rich. It has
Yeah.
to be very, and this is where it comes. We're in Mexico in 1899. How
Yeah.
hard can that be? You have to it makes no sense coming to Mexico and thinking that you're gonna be walking around with a fancy suit and nice boots and and a white horse. Like, no,
Those are gonna
it's
get fucking
Mexico.
stole instantly. Oh, those are nice boots, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah, either by us or by
Yeah.
Victor and his fucking captains of the
Yeah.
military. It's Mexico in 1900s, dude. Come on.
What's this? Is this bribery? It smells like bribery.
Oh, thank you. Yes, yes. Come on, come on. Yes, you're welcome to Mexico. You just have to leave that horse and that wagon, and that's it. Welcome.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Smokey? If you were gonna
Yeah.
go civilian, what would you expect? From what you know about the server right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it has to come into play. You're talking about 1800s Mexico. You're talking about rugged peasants and pueblos. People that are coming out after a war. There's famine. There's no wildlife. The resources have been depleted. So you're not talking about people coming in and they're corsets and their big dresses and doing Cinco de Mayo, and you know what I mean. You're not gonna have even the federalities are not or we're not wearing suits and ties and stuff like that. We might be wearing some rusty, dusty uniforms and stuff like that, but generally, yeah, that's the atmosphere of Mexico. It's a starving nation. You're coming from nothing, and that is the picture that we're trying to put, and there are plenty of civilians. You could be as a normal farmer or an apprentice blacksmith or work as a hand, at the small pueblos. There are plenty of businesses and processing plants, tons of resources, and in Mexico now, that any civilian can come and take on a job and create that story. And yes, I think it does come to a point to where you have to understand where the lore is. We're like after a war, right? We have nothing. A bunch of hobo Mexicans. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to make a living and to build a foundation. As 4.0 came, I mean, when we had absolutely nothing, and then when we went to raid, which I'm pretty sure we can get into the big details of that, the raid of Siska. Is like the guards robbed us of everything, so we had to restart again off of nothing, punching frogs, like just to make a dollar.
Literally. And that was amazing because it fit the story. It was like, okay, here you get dropped. We literally got dropped off at the bridge, and we had to walk from Manteca Falls all the way to Chiparrosa, which I don't know if you guys, it's like all of New Austin.
That's quite a fucking walk. Yeah.
Without any animals, without anything, without any water sources. It was like, holy cow, how are we? Like, it was a very thoughtful thing, and I think we walked it, didn't we, Victor? Like, we walked.
Yeah.
Like, RP walk, thinking of how the hell we're gonna get out of this. How is how are we going to build something off of nothing? Because at that point, you had an amazing thing. Yeah, it was from scratch. This is how we're going to live our life. What are we gonna do about it?
Now, I know, Native, you said you didn't do a lot of 3.0, or did you miss the whole 3.0, or did you miss the sort of the end of 3.0?
No, yeah, I did do a lot of 3.0,
Okay.
in spurts, right? I've always been known as the guy that has 3-4 characters. I really enjoy playing. I played a Comanche. I played a Miles. Hey, how you doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to Saint Denis. How can I help you? And then
oh, motherfucker, I've met you before on Miles. I'm just hearing. I'm like,
sure.
have I fucking probably give that guy a fake name before? Probably.
Yeah. He was Law, and then after Law, he was Crim with the O'Driscolls. It's I played most of it, but at the ending of it, I would say the last 3 to 4 months, maybe even more, I was non-existent in the community.
Yeah. So then, with that being said, with you both playing 3.0, how do you think the server has changed RP wise? Obviously,
Oh,
we're
man.
whitelist.
Wow.
The pacing. Now, like I've said this, and I'll always say this. I still think there's a little bit of public server mentality. I think there's a couple of all-star Andys, zooming around, fucking. But in general, what are you guys liking? Whether it's RP, mechanics, whatever, like the pace from 3 to 4, and what are you sort of like? I sort of wish we had that from 3 and 4. What's your sort of biggest, not turn off, but like you think it's still missing, and like how you like and like the transition into like the next step, right? Whitelisted and pacing and so on.
Good question, and I know that Victor's gonna have an amazing answer, too. But let me drop this dime on you, man. Um, night and day, night and day,
Yeah,
from 3.0 to 4.0. I am feeling like if we continue this and go as a Gold Rush community, we're gonna be up there if we're not already at the level of Wild RP and all those top RP servers. Because the amount of quality that I have had on this server, meaning the law, the other criminals, the civilians, everyone is on their emergent game, and
yeah,
it's been insane. I probably had 98% of a positive RP experience throughout this whole like month or however long we've been in 4.0.
yeah,
Now, with that being said, there is
yeah.
something.
Yep. Go on. I'm ready. Hold on a second. Just let me just
slash S notes.
It's really hard for us, me leading this gang, right? And I'm pretty sure everyone deals with this. It's really hard for us as a criminal organization to tell a story when we know that there's still characters out there and we feel it and I see it that sometimes are still trying to crawl out of that 3.0 quick to the gun, quick to the item mindset instead
yeah,
of letting it be elongated and story driven. It's hard to deal with that because I know it's like I
yeah.
come up to somebody, and it's like I see him being angsty, I see him moving around like he's in Red Dead Online, you know what I mean? And I'm here
Walking in circles.
Yes, and
He's
I'm
yeah,
here and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here trying to show
The
him who my
Cinderella.
character is, you know what I
Yes,
mean? And it's like,
Cinderella. Yeah,
come on, man. Like, like I'm not here to shoot you. I'm here to show you who my character is, like it's hard. Is it happening? Yes. But that is a big wall that I am reaching at the moment where it's like I want to continue to give you my story, but I'm also like
yeah.
I,
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm
know.
on my toes because I don't want you to completely just shut my story down. So I have to like kind of like like could like be on my safe side, you know what I mean, and kind of draw back from the storytelling just because you're here like with your like you're so quick to it. It's like like something that I'm trying to shy away from, and I hope a lot of people understand, is going to confrontation for the first and the smallest little thing.
Yeah.
Brother, like no one, no,
Benji.
I've been waiting to speak for the last 5 minutes.
Sorry, bro.
But no. I appreciate you, and you're 100% right. And I feel like nobody, other than you, understands the pain. Like this has been, like the roleplay. Yes, 4.0 has gone up massively. I think I've dealt with like one person who's MVL'd, and like other than that, no one has, and everyone's playing by the rules, and it's good. But that conflict RP, man, like
There's no.
I found myself changing my character because I couldn't express myself the way my character wanted to without getting shot in the face. And if I
Yeah.
carried on playing my character the way he was supposed to be played, I was almost envying myself because everyone wanted to shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
After like a week, 3-4 different groups, like six man, like no mate, like
all over stolen food.
yeah.
Yeah. Tension. I
Like
think. Yeah.
when I do robberies as well, like I'll be honest, I'll never take. If you got a gun, if you got 2 guns, I'll take one. If you've got $200, I'll take 50. Like you it's on the person carrying $200 to go, fuck, I fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Not like come down with, because I don't want to do the whole, I don't believe in the wear masks, nobody knows who I am, speaking a funny voice, you're never going to find me, robberies, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I will rob you with no mask on, I'll tell you exactly who I am, and we can slow burn that shit for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then, you know?
Yeah, it's like look, I enjoy going slow, right? I enjoy going slow. Maybe too slow sometimes, but tension is such a fucking good story builder, you know? It's so good. We're saying there about like, you know, some people are like acting sort of 3.0-ish, where it's just like, oh, 3.0 finished on Thursday, 4.0 was Friday, it's same shit, different day, where they've, they're still acting the exact same way. There's nothing's changed,
Yeah, like there is a few groups that fall into that thing where in RP I'll have because I'm trying to build something with a few people in Van Horn, right? Similar thing. Like we're playing the whole. You've seen Van Horn. You're poor. You don't come dressed in a fancy suit because you're getting robbed. You know, you look like you got a bit of money, you're getting robbed. Whatever. And I have a conversation with people that, showing good RP, and they show the change in mindset from 3.0, and I'm quite interested, and I'm like, well, what's your plan? And the amount of groups that have said, I just want to get back to where where we were, and it's like they're just grinding for guns and like,
yeah.
Why? Why? That's my only negative so far. Is like people are, but that's not to say that they won't. Maybe they'll regret it and go, shit, I should have. That was a really good opportunity to build something great. Yeah. But
And Smokey, what about you? What's your sort of
Shit, ramble alert. All right, man. So
let me go get my popcorn.
Oh man, dude. Wow, dude. I mean, I've been with Gold Rush for so many fucking years now. I mean, my lord, 4.0 has changed a lot. I mean, the atmosphere. I mean, like I said, I can agree and disagree with some of the things that y'all said. It's hard. It's hard because, like you said, there are Pacific groups that aren't putting in the extra effort to get lost and get immersed in their character. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why I took some time to go like study like high tier wild RPers to see how they get immersed in like their slash me's and their slash do's, like in their conflicts between law and like having actual standoffs and having actual conflicts and verbal communications between friction and conflict between law or criminals, where it doesn't have to be a gunshot, but and I want to say coming into 4.0, I have seen the enhanced immersion from a lot of people, the slash me's and the slash do's, the slow burn. I want to say that something that I hope to see is longevity criminal RP with kind of like probably what y'all maybe went into this on y'all's other episode of Law and Crim, is that just because someone makes a criminal action or is known for criminal action doesn't mean they have to be arrested on the spot.
yeah,
You have the ability to go into a long burn RP to be able to make this longevity story between the law and the criminal group. Just because this criminal group comes into the town and they have like warrants doesn't mean that they have to be arrested on the spot. They can come there and enunciate about certain things and what's going to happen and continue the longevity RP. But overall, I gotta say, the community has really came together and there's definitely been a change, and I have noticed that change, and I think it's a two-way street, right? You really have to put yourself, and that's what people wanted in 4.0 is like, hey, let's encourage y'all to make new characters so you can have some disconnect. Man, when I got off my character for playing 3 years Wyatt Ferguson and I started playing Victor Cortez or my other character Charlie Irwin for the Game Wardens, dude, I mean, dude, I just lost it. I just fell into the RP and it's just RPing my character. And I think that's what a lot of people were coming into 4.0 were wanting to do, is really get immersed in the arc of your story. And I have seen a lot of that, but it was so like so focused coming into 4.0, but it feels like sometimes, maybe it could wear off, and it might have that feeling because some people might be going back to the traits that they were used to and they were comfortable with. What I like to say is that it's what you get comfortable with in RP. And unfortunately, it just happens over time, but if you have a good consistency, and that's why I say streaming really helps me in general. Like when I go into RP and I'm streaming and I'm telling my story, it helps me project my story and puts me into this mode where I'm really getting immersed, and that's just a helper tool for me, right? But there are people out there that can take this energy and do this as well, and it's a two-way street, man. You're gonna have people that are committing high tier RP, and then you're gonna have people that are committing what they're comfortable in RP.
Yeah.
So but I think, like Nate said, there is a night and day. We're on, I wouldn't say we're on the level of wild RP, but I say that, over time, as the atmosphere changes, there is definitely an opportunity to get us there. And from 3.0 to 2.0 to 1.0, 4.0 has been a massive change in immersion. And I can give Gold Rush that. And that's my
Can I
short
add something?
told. Yeah.
So Benji, you mentioned those interactions, right, that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, now I'm telling you from what I've seen from your character and your type of RP, Ajax, Carter, you too, this is going to change if and only if people like us lead by example, so that those that aren't on that like mindset story driven can see, oh, okay, all right, that maybe I should try this, so we have to take the L's. I believe this is my mindset that we have to take the L's so that others can see where the light is and start walking towards it. Whether they take, whether they decide to or not is on them. But this is how it should be done. At the end of the day, we're here for RP. We're not here for guns, items, uh, kills, or any of that. We're here to show
Yeah.
a story. And
Yeah.
we have to lead by RP because we can. Not everyone can lead. So I think that people should just immerse into their characters, play their characters as much as they can, and and hopefully the community will start to develop into seeing how these characters are being portrayed and respected and whatnot, and it helps out also. Sadly, it does, but it helps out when you stream and other people get to see
Makes you focus. I think of it when you're like
yeah.
whenever I'm streaming, yeah, I'm talking to chat and I'm like laughing behind the microphone. And my characters like right now, my character and Mia are like trying to teach fucking Bobby how to fucking like be more perfect, and she's doing Carter's fucking tits in. She just fucking talks all the time, and like Carter's being serious. Like to my stream, I'm laughing my fucking head off. But I think what you were saying there, like taking a loss is the hardest thing. It's gaming, right? It doesn't matter whether you're fucking playing fucking Tetris or something like that there. You want to win, right? Taking a loss is story. It is RP. It's lore. It's something you add to your character. And I think, people have a little bit of Tarkov syndrome where they're scared to lose that gun. They're scared to lose the 100 fake fucking V-Bucks, and they just need to let go, right?
Yeah, I think it's even more than that. It's just having that win mentality and
Yeah.
wanting to be the biggest, baddest in the server instead of showing the biggest and baddest story.
Yeah.
That's as best as I could explain it.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's purely a case of people not actually realizing in RP what power is, or what being the biggest gang, what being the toughest criminal, what it involves, because it's not shooting someone in the face. Like, it's RP. The biggest
Yeah.
gang on the server would have earned it through RP. That's just the way it is.
I tell you what, and that's an amazing point. Give someone a bread and a cattleman, and he can build an empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need the most guns. You don't need the most men. You don't need the biggest horses. All you need is a story that you have in your head, and you go out there and you partake. You do your best to show people in that community that story, and become that person while you're in Gold Rush. That's all it takes. It's a mindset. It's not an item.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. It's
I
quite
also
funny.
think
Yeah, go on.
I also think people need to understand, right? Main character syndrome is a thing, right?
Holy shit.
You calm, Smokey, calm. Whoa, relax. I think yes, you are your own main character, but there's nothing wrong being a number 2, a number 3. Do you know what I mean? Like I use the example from 3.0, right? Benji was the head of the Royals, right? Charlie was the head of the Royals, right? Now whenever I started Carter, I always come in like, make a character. It's gonna be Crim. Go with whatever happens, right? Like I never planned for Carter to be Charlie's right hand, right? It just happened. And being someone who's at a meeting with other gang leaders and you're standing there saying nothing, it's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Because you're still like, giving something to the scene because, behind Charlie is fucking almost 7 foot tall Carter. He's got a fucking shotgun in his pocket, in his jacket. I mean, I think main server or main character syndrome is a big thing as well. I want to be Billy Badass. I want to fucking, being a side character to a overall thing is not a bad thing. What do you guys think about that?
I agree.
Well, this is what I'm struggling with in 4.0. To find, for my story personally, is to find people, solo criminals that have come in a character by themselves and they hang around for the possibility of a story. They're not joining anything specific. They just want to be involved and they come and like we give them good RP, this and the other. But like the temptation of 6 people wearing the same fucking colour over there is way more appealing. Because they know they're going to go and join something. And I think those kind of characters are rarer and rarer. In RP in general, in the past few years. It's a personal thing for me.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, I played the character in 3.0 and made a gang with people I never knew in character or out of character. Just picked up these people and it was awesome, wasn't it? Like it was. I think we never had a gunfight because we would lose.
Yeah.
And I took L's every week, I think. So that was fun. But it was good. It was really good. It was fun,
Smokey, do you want to unleash? Do you want
to? Oh shit, dude. I mean, yeah. I mean, I could see like I guess an example I could say is like I don't know if this ties to the same thing, but like you have a lot of law in certain situations, right? Where it could be like standoffs, right? And they're not necessarily standoffs or like very like aggressive verbal communications going back and forth. And at the end of the day, like the lawman just want everybody to put their guns out and or guns up. That's all he can focus on is being the entity that has the weapons out so they can control the situation instead of like having that mentality, instead of letting the situation where both guns are still out and you're having verbal communications going back and forth and that's aggressive or not. And then you have these main character energies that really, kind of shit on scenes a little bit, right? Where you just got to be the big schlong in it. You're like, no, none of this shit's happening unless you put your fucking guns up, this or that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I've seen a little bit of that, but that's really bad. I didn't have too much to say on that case, but it is, that is an example.
But then at the same time, right? Obviously, we're gonna get some. We've done the law versus crim, but I'll get some law on it another time. But I'd like to hear what their side of that is. We say like 6 lawmen come into town with guns out, and it's like you do what we fucking say, like what makes you act like that? Like what can we do as crims to make you like not have that anxiety to ride into a town with guns because do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you now, if I'm meeting a gang,
street.
if my character or my group's meeting a gang, like I'm not pulling a gun. I'm not pulling a gun unless there's a reason. If unless something's happened before I'm going there, like it would take a lot for my character to shoot. Like, why? Why? There's nothing worse. I'd much rather have a scene personally, especially when I used to play Charlie, where I'd rather have Carter stood behind with his arms folded, me sat in a chair with a cigar, like Charlie sat in a chair with a cigar, going, "Well, I've heard something about you. Do you want to tell me what the fuck that is? Because I'm not fucking happy." Do you know what I mean? I'd rather do that because that's much more of a scene and like a power play than someone standing in front of me pacing up and down with a fucking long arm in their hand. Like
spinning in circles. Fucking.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not. But I'd like to know from a crim point of view, like what can make that happen from a law point of view. What do they want from us? Because that's how we're going to get to a place where we all want to be in 4.0 is like relaying that to each other so we can just better understand the kind of roleplay that's going to come back and forward.
Yeah, and I think that my gang and Wessel right now have this thing, and hopefully this shines light on what can somewhat come to aid this whole issue, is allowing others to win, not always wanting to win, understanding that other people are on the other side of that screen. So maintaining your immersion, understanding that someone is here, spending IRL time, enjoying their time, and understand that it's not just you don't always just have to win in every situation. Let others, get a good story out of it, a good win out of it. It doesn't always have to be you. I think that if more people have that mindset, that whole issue would be fixed, where law wants to show up and pull up and be the biggest, baddest honcho in the world, or a specific family wants to be the biggest and fastest gun in the Commonwealth. Like, just understand when to let others win. For example, if my character ever gets caught fair and square by law, I turn into the biggest bandit in the Commonwealth, from the biggest bandit in the Commonwealth to chinga madre, okay, you got me. Fuck, don't kill me. You know what I mean? Because I'm now in a jeopardized position. I have men that know that I'm from a country that attacked their country, who have lost family members, who have lost their towns. I don't want to do anything to make these guys shoot me and kill me in the cells because, it's 1900 for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, I think that if we immerse ourselves into where our character is at the present time in that situation, it'll be, okay, you know what? All right, I'm outnumbered here. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be trying to like tell these 6-armed guys what to do, or you know what I mean, like that. I think if
you're not gonna pull out the 1v6 fucking.
Yes. Yes. Things like that, man. Being outnumbered out in the Wild West, like, come on, guys. And a whole thing about like quicking draw, like being so quick to the gun, Benji, I love that you bring it up because it's something that I've been practicing. My whole gang's been practicing, and I see others doing it. It's you can knock someone out without having to shoot them. You know what I mean? Like, shooting them has the potential of killing somebody, right? Like, I don't think anyone has done anything that severe for you to want that person dead. There's no possible way. We're all trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if you have some beef, dude, knock them out. Hit them with a buttstock, do what you can, roughen them up a little bit, The Darnells were a good example of this, that we had some beef, some of my guys did something dumb, and, not the meta or anything, but the Darnells came and they could have killed the head of Mexico right then and there. Could have put him in a bullet, and it's up to me to see if I'm going to perma him or not, But instead of that, they roughed me up. They beat me up, you know what I mean? Just like we did today in Van Horn, like we could have killed somebody for what? Let there be a flourishing story behind conflict, and that's what I want people to see through my RP, is that conflict can be a beautiful story. Doesn't have to be, Amen. You looked at me wrong in Blackwater, so I'm gonna come for the rest of the week with my gang and shoot you because you looked at me wrong.
You fucking knocked me over with your horse. It's fucking 6v6. Let's go war terms.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
it's like I've watched many films. Like I love watching films, and I love the cinematography and all that of like films. I think like that or the characters. Like I'd try and get inside the characters and think, oh, that's a great character, And like all of the greatest films, the character who you like the most at the end, or like has the hero, say, yeah, they take so many L's before they get there. So many. Like imagine you watch the opening of John Wick and it like he killed everyone in about 10 minutes and it was over. You'd be like, shit, this is shit, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Like, why? Just slow it. There's something more scary. I can tell you, my character would be more scary if I go into a scene and I got 6 people and there's only 2 of you, say, whatever, and we've all got guns, but no one's wielding them, and I tell you in like a proper intense fashion that you're lucky this time. You'd ever do that again, I'll break your fucking legs. Like now fuck off.
Like,
you know what I mean? It's way more intense.
It's like whenever Jugs fucking kidnapped Carter, and then we're standing behind that Senor guy, right? And I walk up behind him, and Carter puts his hand on his fucking shoulder and squeezes. Standing behind him, just a little bit of intensity,
There you go, Benji. You said it. What'd you say? I'll break your ankle or something, or I'll break your neck, something like that, right?
Yeah, break your
It doesn't
fucking
have to
legs.
be so quick to let me. I'll shoot you, right? Like I think that we as criminals, whether it be criminals or law, even law, like we should use that gun as a last resort.
Do you think?
At the end.
Just get into it now. Do you think like, because here's another thing. I think like the whole attempted murder thing, attempted murder. The charge is given out way too much, and it means fuck all. Then go, oh yeah, 6 times attempted murder, like at half an hour and you're fucking back. You can get another gun and shoot people.
It definitely puts your character in it kind of like molds your character into becoming that crim, right? Because if I'm going around and I want to hit a store, right, and I'm hungry and I'm starving, and I go to hit a store and rob a store without wanting to harm anybody, but I need to get a hostage so that law doesn't rush into the store and kill me, right? And then I'm trying to get away and I shoot at your horse, or maybe I shoot to maim you, or to get you from stop chasing me,
Yeah.
and then you catch me and you charge me for attempted murder, on a LEO. You're kind of like forcing me to go down that attempted murder path. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
when I'm just trying to get away and get food for my story,
So I'm wondering, right, if you could you could kind of try and put it in the law that like, so say if you massively outnumber the other team, say, yeah, so like two groups, they're conflicting each other, no matter who you are. If it's like 6 on 2 and those 6 people gun the 2 people down, then that charge would be like premeditated, like attempted murder, say, and then that would hold a bigger charge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because,
so that like
you're obviously the aggressors, right? And then you had the choice to let.
Yeah, and like that way, if you get more time in Siska, like you really would think about pulling the trigger, because obviously, let's just go real life for a minute. Okay, we don't shoot people in the face because it's a fucking disgusting thing to do. Yeah, I get that, right? But let's just pretend for a minute. You don't do it because you're going to prison for a long fucking time, right?
Yeah.
Like, is there a way you can do it in character where, like, if you get caught, you're going away for a long time?
That's what I'm saying.
But then
you can't.
But then you've got to, like, you get in a shootout with a law and you get 6 times, you're in there forever. So they need to make that like it's a balance, isn't it?
I think what David was saying, like, beating the fuck out of somebody, right? Now, when I say torture, like mild torture, right? Like, I'm not talking about cutting fucking limbs off.
Just putting
like,
nails in that.
just pull nails. Like for example, whenever Carter was beating Senor up, it was like I broke his arm, right? I fucking dislocated his thumb, right? Like you can beat the fuck out of someone, and hopefully they RP that they're fucked for a while. It doesn't have to be like I'm gonna shoot you in the head. Fucking. There's other ways to fight people without just shooting them, right?
Yeah. That's what comes into like longevity RP,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big thing of it, is like there's always an effect.
Yeah.
Like criminal RP. I think that's the biggest thing, like when it comes to initiation of like an example of robbery. It should never be just guns coming out, it should be that, I like to use this example when I'm going around with Victor and I get bored, I'll be like, hey, how you doing, amigos? I'm selling some tamales and tortillas and some carnitas, all the way from Mexico. If you're interested, and I'll get to rambling where they don't have a word that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're coming off and it's like, oh, so what do you have to donate, or you like to trade and stuff like that? And we get them down to the point, and then, things start to get a little weird and whatnot. And then you start getting everybody off their horses and whatnot. It's like, yeah, try this tamale. This one's chicken, and this one's beef. And then all of a sudden you see a lot of Mexicans start popping up and surrounding, and you're like, oh wait, there's a little bit something else going on here, but that's what I like,
Small talk.
Yeah, and it builds the RP, man, and I think that's what people need to aim for in all these criminal actions. It's not going straight to just pulling the trigger. Let your gun be your story, like don't it doesn't have to be the bullet. There's, like you said, you can go into putting bags over people's heads and taking them into a dark room and beating the shit out of them, like you said. Let that be the effect of the story, then just a gunfight. There's just so much,
I just want to make this clear. This isn't a problem on Gold Rush. This is a problem in RP in general.
Yeah.
Once you lead enough gangs, you realise you're stood at the front and you're just you're a target, and you're stood still. Like, you're going down first. If the conversation doesn't go the right way, you're going down. Which is why I don't even hold a gun. I'll just stand in a pose. That usually does it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. I think.
Yeah. Like two
there's
groups.
Not much you can do about it.
Like two groups stand, fucking say it's me and Benji versus you two, right? And like Benji's fucking getting like Carter, like we'll use Charlie, right? Because it's Charlie and Carter, right? Like Carter would know that Charlie's getting pissy, right? So maybe Carter slides his hand, Slash B slides his hand into his jacket, it's now resting on a shotgun. I think people need to take more brain power to start using things like that there, like little Slash B's, like looks nervous, starting to sweat, fucking looking around. I think things like that are huge. Small things are usually huge, right? And I don't think they get used enough.
No, but then that's kind of a W thing. Like, no one's gonna ever do that, because as soon as you do, like, the other person, they just know, and you've put yourself at a disadvantage. And people don't want to do that, and that's honestly, like, it's almost because shooting is a massive part of the Red Dead Redemption and the storytelling. Like, let's be honest, without guns and shootouts and stuff, Red Dead RP would be dead, let's say. Because it's a huge part of that time period. Especially, I know Americans, like, they love all their guns anyway. But, like, yeah, it's hard. Because people get so invested.
I think that will come. Like we said,
if anyone wants to watch a scene, right, the best scene I've seen, Middle Ditch played on Wild RP, and he played a lawman called Scrump Toggins. And he had this shootout where he ran into, like, a criminal, and he was by himself, and, like, he was banged to rights, but he was like, never stood down and was like, look, I'm a lawman. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you to put your hands up, or like, you're coming with me. And they both agreed, like, well, this is only going one way, and they let themselves both get to cover, fired a gun and a shot in the air, and just had a cool shootout. It was really cool. Like, and I've wanted to push that, but I never got the chance. You know, like it's much better if like, you know, even if you're a lawman, you're just like, alright, it's only going one way. Y'all gonna get behind cover, so because only one of us walking out alive. You know, something like that. Like, it would be so cool. Like,
Native, did you play Law as well before?
I did. And I like to consider myself the best lawman in Gold Rush.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Law just has like unbelievable PTSD from 3.0, where like literally every encounter is going to be a fucking gunfight? Do you think that?
Yes.
Do you think it's like fucking ingrained into their fucking head? You know?
Yeah, from my experience, those guys are amazing role players. They do what they can to hold down their commonwealth, right? They have to be very reactive. As a lawman, you can't be proactive. You can control a scene, but you have to react on depending on what the crim does. You know, so they're always on the losing end of things, because we as crims get the first action. Law isn't going to shoot us, you know. We can have an altercation. They're not going to shoot us, you know. They can tell us to put our hands up, but it's up to us to decide if we either retaliate or not, you know. So being that they're always, you know, yes, the PTSD from 3.0 is a big thing, because people were just so quick to shoot. Hey, put your hands up. No word gets told. They turn around and get blasted.
Bang, bang, bang.
Exactly. Like, no, yes, you know, so you got to give that to those guys. This now, it's not all of them, you know what I mean? And I think that Law is doing a really good job on showing the ones that have been slacking back a little bit on how to, by leading by example. For example, Simus and Cavendish and and what's his name, dude? The really good one.
The Graph.
The Graph, you know, those guys are amazing role players, and they put RP first, you know. But you have to understand where they come from. You know, they're used to a guy going around selling swamp. Law pulls up, tells them to put their hands up. You know, Law's here, and instead of that criminal being, you know, you caught me. How can I get out of here? You know, something like that. They turn around and shoot. You know, you understand that. At the end of the day, it's the mechanics of like certain things. For example, store robberies. If Law isn't so quick to hog tying us off of our horses, this leads to us being doing a good possible chase. You know what I mean? And just like that, it's with everything else. You know, what do you call it? Like grave robbing or house robberies or anything like that, right? Like, we want that chase. We want it to be fair and square.
I was super excited about the new horse system in 4.0, because I thought, oh, they must have done this, because the horses went far, right? Untrained, just starter horse went far. Like, I could go from Van Horn to like Emerald, no problem. And it was like, I was like, oh, this will make for some really good chases. We won't get like a shootout or get lassoed off a horse within 30 seconds. You know, this is a good 2 minutes chase. Like, this will be interesting. Horses have gone back to the way they were. Don't go nowhere. Can't even get from Van Horn to Johannesburg. But do you know what I mean? Like, there's, I think a massive problem with, I don't know if you agree, just let me know. Perhaps Smokey, you can talk about this. But like in 3.0, you get caught doing a crime, there was no way you could RP out of it. Like,
like
law was like, you're doing this crime.
Yeah, so last night
it come up on my map, you're doing it. You know?
Yeah, last night I had just robbed the grave of a girl who played a character down near the Royals in 3.0, and like talked my way out of it, because, you know, the law played along, started talking about her tits. You know, it was good. 3.0, that would have been like, oh, you're within 5 miles of this fucking grave being robbed. We're gonna put you in handcuffs. What's this in your pocket? You've lost. You know?
Oh, a wrench. Yeah, because it mean only one thing. You must be doing moonshine with that wrench. No, I was definitely fixing wagons. No, you can't do that with that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I think I had a scene with Nala. I think I said last time, I had just robbing a grave, and Nala rolled up, no rules, and I was like, I'm just visiting my brother. And I was like, so happy it worked. I was like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so look, guys, the the people that the sheriffs and the captains and the lieutenants on in these departments know their stuff, and they know that they can't use their penal code as a overpowering mechanism
I
for
have noticed
criminals.
that. I have noticed that.
Yeah.
Now, they're hiring people who don't know the penal codes, and it's up to them to train them. Just how we as crims hire someone to do dirty work, and we can't expect them to go and know how to hit a cash register the first time. You know what I mean? Like it's training ground. So we can't blame all of the department over the
No,
new
no, of
guys
course.
doing
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean? It's select few and things, and hopefully it's up to them to sharpen it, and it's up to us criminals to bring that up to them and tell them, hey, we only got one map. You're like, we only have one map, amigo. This is our land. Do you understand? Like, train your men. No, teach them how to do things correctly. Because you're not going to be around. Like things like that. Like, I think it's a good way. Like, my character has done that a lot. Is that I have noticed that there's a good portion of law who's like, okay, cool, they're not going to use that penal code to like exploit their power gaming. But then there's the newish guys who just really want to wake up and get the badge to like put people behind bars who are like, okay, I can use this to exploit this criminal because I know he's doing it, even though I don't have enough, like
Yeah.
whatever reasonable suspicion or probable cause.
It's experience. It's experience. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
OC
trying to get the
experience and
checklist
ICE
off, man.
experience. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like for me personally, right? There's nothing that I enjoy more than somebody who's doesn't have to be new to RP, but like they've never played Crim, and you get them and you see them doing their first crime, right? And you know that behind the fucking monitor, they're fucking sweating bullets.
They're
It's just,
shaking. They got
oh,
shake.
the
Still
adrenaline's
happens to
fucking.
me now, mate, when I'm grave digging and I hear like a rustling in the bushes. I'm like, who's that?
And I was talking about this last week with like Dickie Darnell. Do you remember whenever you grave robbed and you couldn't turn your camera around? You were just facing the way you were facing.
Oh my
And
god.
if it's like foggy, fucking rain's coming down, it's night, and the fucking you hear something rustle, it's like, oh, I shit myself. I'm dead.
And your horse
It's-
goes.
Yeah, or it stomps the ground. But I love. I don't want to say I love being a tutorial character, right? But I love taking like people who have they've never played a crim character, they've never done crime, and they're shitting themselves because they are because you were shitting yourself the first time you did something. You know?
Shit, I still shit myself right now doing stuff, dude. Because I mean, you go from sitting down, chilling, RPing and slash memes and stuff like that, and then you go into like a whole like whole shit. Okay, you get especially being like having to like plan stuff. Like, dude, I'm hitting the ground running, dude. Like my emotions are all over the place playing Raphael.
Like the amount of times I've been like, so my character, like I love the like slum side of Saint D. It's really immersive, but like I've people walk past me and I've been hiding in like a doorway that I know I fit in, and I've spoke to them, and you can tell their mouse has like gone halfway across their fucking desk because the character's spinning in circles, like they've properly shot themselves. I fucking love that.
That's my favorite thing to do in Van Horn.
Is that?
Yeah.
I've had people walk up the corridor and be like trying to sell me Swamp Herb. Like the guy I do not look like a local. But yeah, there's nothing more fun than like the immersion of what was that sound? What was that? Fucking shitting yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's a beautiful map. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful thing that we get to call our community and our home, And I think that, like I said, if we just continue to lead by example, that rubs off. RP rubs off, just like everything else. I think of it like this: how I take my IRL life, is if I'm in law enforcement. If I go and show up and I relieve my guy late, he's gonna relieve his guy late in the morning, and so on. Why not change that circle, relieve that guy early, and so on with RP?
Yeah.
Why don't take the L, my dude? Maybe that guy that took the win might take the L next time. You have to do something because if you go and you're quick to the gun because someone was quick to the gun with you, you're gonna continue that never-ending cycle that's not gonna change. We have to be the bigger people because we can be. We have the mentality. We have the maturity. We have everything in our resource to be able to change that and show people how storytelling is supposed to be.
Yeah. Smoky.
Right. Hell yeah, man. I just getting on back everything. We kind of went on a couple of different topics there. It's kind of going back a little bit, you know, I love the RP when Law, likes to kind of like that grave robbing thing, you know, like where you said you started crying, or maybe you and a guy there have a list and you start knocking off. It's like, amigo, this list comes from the Armadillo Excavator people. We are here. We have Charles Smith. We have Larry Gentleman, and we are here to bury them people today. And I love when like, okay, it's at that point, you know, the law are seeing the RP, and it doesn't have to be grave robbery. Just grave robbery is a good example of it. But they start to like, okay, we see what's going on, and they allow it to go instead of, okay, guns are pointed at you, whatever sheriff's office, you know, and you know, you're going to fucking jail. You know, I got this mark on my map. Kind of like Benji said, that shit made me laugh hard as fuck. But it's really dope to see when the lawmen, like, you know, they take the L too, you know, in a situation where we're doing something very petty, like grave robbery, and like those are small things, right? That we are, you know, if you're hitting a grave and you show up like deep as shit on a grave, you know, you just have guns pointed. What makes, you know, what makes that an RP scene when there's just a guy digging a grave, and then there's guns pointed, and you just throw them on the back of your horse and you go process them, you know, to, you know.
Yeah, you might as well just fucking send them the Sissica from the gravesite.
Yeah, there's just so much more you can do out of that situation. I'm not saying it's like that, but I'm just talking about the, you know, visual point of it, you know. And I think that's a big thing, and it goes both ways for the criminal. I mean, and for the law.
Yeah, I mean, like, so that scene I explained to you, I made up some stories, started crying, and like, there was someone else was on a horse right behind me, that I was with. So there was two of us and Nala. I mean, let's be honest, we could have pulled out guns and robbed Nala, but that's a marshal. Like, those people are scary.
Yeah,
like, I'm not robbing a marshal, even if no one else is around and no one's seeing it. Like that, nah, that's a whole different level of trouble I don't want, you know?
It's lovely that you say that, Benji, because I think that we need that as criminals. We need to give these people the stature that they have. A lieutenant, a captain, and Wesso has earned that. You know what I mean? And it's not just a regular assistant deputy. You know, it's like, holy cow, like this is a fucking marshal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
like,
gonna come Molotov the whole of fucking Mexico.
Yeah,
you'll be hanging.
Like,
you'll be swinging. Like,
yeah,
what color do you want your
sign a paper? You know, they're gonna sign a paper to be able to cross the border. You know, I don't want to deal with that, like shit like that, dude. And it adds another avenue of fear to your character, and you know, I think it's good for the health of it. Like instead of us all having the mindset of, oh, just because that white hat, you know, like they think they're special, like. Okay, they're there for a reason, you know what I mean? Like if you were just to partake in just how, you know, once we all like flourish into our storylines, you know, one criminal character, like that's that big fucking crime lord, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna go up to him and just like, you know, smooth talk him or bad talk him. You know, everyone needs to earn their respect, and I think that for the server health, if we respect others that have gotten to where they're at due to their time in the Commonwealth, I think it'll be really good for everyone's storylines instead of just looking at a marshal like an assistant deputy.
Yeah, true.
Oh no, that's a white hat, mijo. We got to go.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're going to sign some papers to cross the river. I don't want anything to do with this.
Oh no, the white hat. We had to go. No.
Yeah, fucking scary white hats.
So like, right then, let's just let's go like, considering the level of like, even since I started playing Red Dead, which is like, fucking, was it 2 years, nearly 2 years, like how far forward the servers have come in terms of like what's possible, mechanics, like if there's something you could see later on in 4.0 that would be really cool to enhance like the server, what would that be if you've had any ideas? Like, just go one each.
Go ahead, Smokey. I feel like I've been
right.
talking over you, dude.
No, you're good, dude. No, it's all good. I got a couple ideas. I guess criminal side, like small petty things. Like it'd be cool. Like you could walk around and Benji, I know you know where this shit comes from, but like you could like aim your pistol at a local, and you could either like rob them up front, or you could like rob a local like by pickpocketing him through like a little little mini game. which will allow you to get like small bits of cash or little things. I know what I'm talking about though.
Yeah. So like,
Is this a Prodigy thing? Is it? Or?
Yeah.
It's actually really good. But I want to just say something real quick. It goes along with that. Like, I saw a thing ages ago. I think it came up quite a few times, where it's like, stop treating NPCs like they're not people. You know, start treating them like they are people. You know, don't RDM them or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you can rob them, like, you know, you no one's around, just an NPC, and you're like, put your fucking hands up. Put your fucking hands up. I'm robbing your ass. You know,
I will walk past. I talk to locals all the time, and like,
Oh my god!
I
Thank
thought-
God you said
Hell
that. I thought I was
yeah.
the only one, bro.
no. Look, there's a thing, and it comes from the couple of people I play with, like play with them in GTA, right? And like there was always this one NPC that sat out the back of our house, and his name was Gary, right? And he just sat there and didn't do anything. It wasn't anything special. And he had his own story. He was like at the back of my house because his wife was cheating on him. He knew about it. Like, I fucking talk so much shit to locals. You know, it's just like, you know, there's maybe one in the slums like washing clothes. I was like, yo, when you've Bertha, whenever you finish that there, can you get that hole in that sock for me? And like, I'm streaming, right? And there's no one around me. And if there's anybody hiding, they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But I just fucking talk to locals. It's so fun.
yeah, it's
I
good.
love it.
It's good when you like. I think at Van Horn Saloon, it's like, are you up for a good time, big boy, or something? It's like, nah, not today, love. I'm fucking busy. Leave me alone. You know, like, it's
I
funny.
love it, bro. I have a big one, and for me, I've dabbled into other roleplay servers, and I think that for immersion purposes, having a system where I can keybind emotes and hand gestures and hand tips
I would
is
love that.
extremely important. So I can not have to worry about typing. I love the typing system that we have, but maybe like 2 or 3 little keybinds that I can do where like I'm pointing or I'm calling or I'm tipping my hat or I'm like /E arguing so I can like act like my character's doing a
love that.
speech. You know, a quick access to that would be ideal for the immersion of the server.
Do you ever stream that, bro?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, whether you stream or don't stream, I think something like a stream deck where you like, I have like 4 pages of emotes bound, right? And I'm like, you know, obviously people can take them to the extreme and all the other, but mine's like, you know, fucking pointing, cracking his neck, you know, just.
Can we do that on Gold Rush?
What?
Yeah, you can't.
Really?
What you can't
with
do
the
is
stream deck.
you can't macro things like something for canceling an animation or something like that. There. Plus, you stream, you just fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But like, I have like, you know, no way, cross arms, things that are like
like stand,
yeah.
stand to, or stream deck. You just you put it on a multi-action, and then you do like T, and then slash, and then enter. You know.
Yeah.
That would be huge though. I mean, like being able to kind of access all your emotes through like one little page, like if you have standing, kind of like Benji, like over there on Prodigy, like how you like when you hit X and then you have stand, and then it shows like 30 different emotions that you can do with stand.
Like, I don't
or
know if
30
that's
different
exclusive
emotions.
to them,
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no
because
idea, but
that
would be
that is the best thing I've ever seen. Because you can like
ever
you
seen,
stand
ever seen, bro.
with your hands crossed, and then you can press it again, and you can like scratch your nose, or like
Is it almost like, so obviously I haven't played in Project, but is it like looking at a chair? You get a full list of like everything.
no,
You
it's
can-
it's,
No.
well, it's more than that. So you press X, and like
It's everything.
you can like you choose lean, and then you'll have like you'll have it will go to like, the next menu, and it'll be like lean forwards, lean sideways, lean backwards.
So you have like the initial like
Lean-
sit, but then you can sit, then you get the subcategory for sitting like a certain way.
Yeah, then you can sit
Yeah, smoke, drink,
and read newspaper,
coffee. Paper.
and then
Yep.
whilst you're whilst you're in the animation reading the newspaper, you press it again, and you can like scratch your knee or like rub the back of your head. So if someone asks you a question and you like don't really want to answer it, you're like yeah, and you can scratch the back of your head. Like, it's way better. I'd much rather a system like that than slash me's or slash do's, because
slash
I'm a
me
very
or
visual
hit your
person.
F1 key and
So I'd rather see the emotes than do the
Yeah,
slash me's.
There's a system
Oh.
in the Frontier RP where it's kind of like I click something, like let's just say I click like I don't know X or something, right? And it brings up a 5 keybind thing that I can slash move
Yeah.
any emote that I want to that. So when I press X or whatever button it is,
like a
I
quick
get
draw.
to keybind, yeah, exactly, for specific emotes. So my favorite emotes are quickly accessible for me.
Can I just say
That's
the best part? The best part of that, which blew my mind, was you can literally just press W to get out of it.
yeah.
You didn't have to do
Yeah, that
cancel
shit,
and
that
stand
shit's
up,
nice.
spring up from a chair like a kangaroo, or like Jack in the Box, or like press stand and get on the tape. Yeah, you just press W and you just, or like you lean, and then you just press W and walk away. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, that brings us on to like what's the one thing you guys love about 4.0, and then what's the one thing you guys would change right now about 4.0?
All you native.
Damn it. Put me on the spot. Okay. Me personally, I really like to see the change of pace from coming from 3.0 to 4.0 so quick. Right? It's a complete different place. It's a complete different server. So that's something that I love, is that I can see others getting immersed into their storylines. I can see others, um, doing emotes, doing slash like do's and doing
Yeah.
scripts and stuff, and I see it. That I love to see that. One thing that I would change is people having a win mentality, letting others take an L. Understanding that the L is going to bring you possible future outcomes better down along the line for your story, instead of you just immediately taking it there because you want to be the biggest honcho. I think that needs to be said. And alongside of that, I reiterate myself about us us being the change. We have to understand that there's another person on the other side of the screen. So we have to think of that. Yes, we're immersed into this character, but we also have to think of and balance out for server health, for the health of the server. We can't just like do specific stuff, because it's just not. I mean, like, I don't want to make sure that I don't want to get this guy and piss him off so bad that he doesn't wake up on Goldrush anymore because I robbed everything off of him. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like the south side of like GTA. I'm gonna fucking clap you until you don't wake up anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably said that a few times on
Yeah.
my character, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm not perfect, sometimes my blood goes boiling, dude, and I'm hitting the ground running, man, and I'm trying to do my best in Mexico. But, guys, I have to run.
That's okay. That's okay. We can grill the fuck out of smoking.
I have to run.
Yeah, no,
Something just really popped off.
yeah,
I'm so
you
sorry.
go. I appreciate you joining us. So we're gonna go soon anyway. So
Okay,
Much love, much
love it,
love.
guys. I love your characters, Benji. I hope we got some problems and Van Horn. We're going to Cerdo, amigo. But wish you guys luck. Keep doing this, man. This is gonna be amazing. I'll definitely be tuning into this podcast. Thank you guys so much for thinking outside of the box, and everyone in Goldrush that's listening, think outside of the box, guys. Let's not do scripted crime. Let's not do scripted law. Let's think outside of the box and continue to make this amazing server better. Hasta luego. Goodbye.
Peace,
See you,
bro.
buddy.
Adios, native.
Smoking. So like,
He's a good egg, that one.
what do you like about 4? What would you like to change? And then
Dude,
we'll get into some like chat questions.
Yeah, brother. I'm like honestly like right there with native, man. The pace. We need like another alarm. We like that pressure everybody got like coming into 4.0 is like, holy shit, dude, here we come, dude. This thing's about to get really really immersed. We need another, we need another mindset reset. We need to slow it down. People need to continue working on their stories and not worried about mining and worried about getting after not mining and necessarily, but just doing shit just for money and this and that. Really get after your stories, man, and slow the pace down. And I like I said, I agree that with native. If I had to change anything, it would, I guess, and coming back to native is kind of like the win mentality. But I want to say this, an example is, if I could change something, I would change the initial point of how a criminal is looked at. and the fact of longevity RP, like I was mentioning earlier. And that is that if there's a known criminal that walks into a town with his group, they are not to be just thrown into hog ties immediately, right? They'd be able to enunciate about certain things about what's going on in their conflict with which will let the story continue. Say them criminals left out of the town without being arrested, and they said what they had to say with the law about some ongoing issues, and they had warrants for their arrest, but none of those officers necessarily enforce those, and this could go, in both ways. So, I would change the mentality to wanting to always put someone into a jail cell.
Yeah.
And to letting that shit burn, my
There's
guys.
there's nothing wrong with going like,
I think a good example of that. I watch a person on Wild. She's Scarlet Rose Plays.
Oh, that's who I watched
yeah.
too.
Now they ran into a load of criminals that had wanted, but they were outnumbered, and the conversation was like not heated, but it's like, look, we can't do anything about this now, but you guys are wanted, right? And it wasn't like, oh, this person's wanted, fucking I gotta throw my body at this person to get them in handcuffs,
Yeah.
is good. But then you were saying there about like the win mentality. Do you think that, and people like who are just grinding and stuff like that, I feel that we're a month and a bit into 4.0. Do you feel that those people that don't involve like story and actually like stand around talking, they're gonna get left behind because the ceiling goes up and they're where they're at, but technically they're going backwards or going down. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the big grinders, okay, you're rich, you've got all this, but like, what have you done?
I think Snoop Dogg quoted this one time. I think I seen it in a reel. It's like this thing that's called closing the gap. You're gonna have people that are that are gonna be here at the bottom, and they're just gonna be doing this, and then you're gonna have people here at the top that are creating RP, right? You're not gonna have these people. You might have these like really, people that are shining a lantern come down to try to bring those people back up, but that's just gonna, that's gonna stop them from progressing their RP. So these people that are gonna stay here and grind at the bottom, they're just going to be putting money into their bank and, not creating RP. So it's about closing that gap. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, yes, some people will get left behind because they're not going out to want to get immersed in their story, to let their story have an effect on other people's story. Yeah. You just, keeping to yourself, what are you going to do with that? Go out and put your story onto somebody else, and let that affect. I think that's the biggest thing, is if you're ever out going and doing like criminal stuff here, on this point that I'm trying to make here is that when you're doing criminal stuff, you want there to be an effect. You want there to be a ring that is everlasting, right? You're hearing that this crime had happened, or an event or of something of legislation or anything that it has an effect that creates a story. I think that's a big thing. Is there's always a cause and effect, and that effect needs to ring a story than to just be stale.
Yeah
100% agree with you. Like that's always been my my like the way I see things is like I know my potential in RP, and it's like if the first meeting 2 goes a certain way with the group and I can tell how that their RP goes, it's like I'm not worried because the RP will always win. No matter how many gunshots or gunfights you lose or how many times you get shot, the RP will always win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But I mean it's gonna take people a while to adjust, and they'll realise because there'll be so much great stuff going on around that they won't even be able to not get involved.
Yeah. Or I think they'll be pushed out to a degree, right? Like I have this thing where like if someone's giving me like great RP, I want to fucking like give that back to them. But like if you get some like turbo grinder Andy who's just like giving you nothing, it's just like, well, why the fuck would I bother? Like this example I always use. Me and Carter, whenever like we're talking to someone or we're at like a cooking pot, hello, how's it going? How's your day going? And if you get nothing, like we just straight up just say, oh, well, I'll just go fuck myself then, just to try to get a react, and you just get like fucking flatline.
Oh,
It's
do you know
just
that was
not,
that was the best player in Charlie for that.
yeah, just
Well,
like
fuck you then.
yeah, it's just like I feel like there's a lot less of that because people are, they want to talk, they know it's whitelist, you know, they're expected to do more, but like I still, if someone's giving you like zero, I'm giving fucking zero back. I'm not wasting my fucking time. I'll just remember your character as a complete twat.
Yeah, like I'll 100% go out of my way. If I bump into someone, I'm like, like the effort is 10 out of 10. Like I'll try and make something happen. Like even if it's like a little side quest for my character, like, oh yeah, I'll pop down one day and we can have a chat about it. Like it's just rewarding people that have good RP, because in turn you
Yeah.
reward yourself, right? And the more immersed you are by other people's roleplay, the more immersed you get in your own, and like it's just a domino effect.
Yeah. It's like since the end of 3.0 and 4.0, like, you go through the standard conversations of like, oh, Smokey, what do you do? Oh, well, I do this. Carter, what do you do? Oh, I'm semi-retired. Oh, what the fuck does that mean? Like just give them a little chance to like maybe, hit back and ask like the right question or the wrong question, or, unfortunately sometimes they say fuck all, and then it's just like, well, on to the next.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that happens in RP. Sometimes you're not going to get as much energy out, as you want, or vice versa, two-way street, right? But at the end of the day, after every scenario, I want my RP to affect them, to want them to burst into making their RP, right? So every situation I come out of, I'm wanting that to shine. I wanted them to be affected by the RP that I've presented. So if they're giving me 0 RP, I'm gonna make sure my RP was over the top to at least try to push some energy back at my way, and if I could be in a good example and do that, I'm sure down the line that person will start showing more energy coming out,
Yeah.
and coming into this whitelist, as you say, Carter and Benji, coming into this whitelist, everybody is coming to this atmosphere of wanting to work and do more energy in that way, and I love it. I've seen so many different people that that usually didn't do slash me's and slash do's, and it's amazing to see the effort, and it's great. I think Gold Rush in general has come such a far way, man, and especially 4.0 has been a huge pinwheel, man. I mean, we're turning into some more immersive RP, and just amazing just RP that people are projecting through stories.
Yeah.
Like, brother, I watch your stream when I can. I watch native as well when I can. Like, just the passion you both have for your characters right now and your story is just amazing to see. Like, the energy you have on your stream, because you just how much you love playing your character is like, it's awesome, bro. Like, honestly, it's like if everyone can just, put that much effort in and enjoy themselves that much, play a character that you enjoy, because at the end of the day, right, this is why I always say, especially in Redem, like, people miss the opportunity to make new characters and make actual characters, because like you need to make someone that's so far away from yourself because of the time period and the way we're raised,
The disconnect.
but if you go, like you say, when you stream, and like when I stream, I used to stream Charlie all the time, and Charlie was a knobhead. Yeah, he was an absolute dick. But like, I'd say something on Charlie, and I'd be laughing made off on the stream. But like, if you didn't see my stream, you'd be like, "Who's this fucker?"
Yeah.
And it's like, you helps yourself, because I speak to chat, and I'm me, and then I go in and I'm the character, and it helps you disconnect, right? But that's the same even if you don't stream. If you got to work and have a bad day, and then you come home and you jump in and you're kind of playing someone that could bleed from yourself, and you've had a bad day, your effort's going to be minimal in roleplay, and you're not going to enjoy yourself because the person you're playing in character has had a bad day. How can you possibly be enjoying yourself? But if you go in, you play some jolly, like, over exaggerating bloke, or if you think it's funny to play an arsehole, then like do that. And I think the more characters we see on the server, the more that roleplay will improve. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because like,
Yeah.
For me personally, it's easier to go, right, I'm gonna make this character. He's gonna have this voice. I'm gonna speak like a miserable twat, yeah, and he's gonna be a miserable twat, and I'm gonna say some things, and people are gonna think he's a wanker, right? That's my character. I come up with the backstory, blah blah blah. But like, that's so much easier for me than me playing like Carter. I don't know how you do it, to be honest. Like, you have your voice,
Yeah.
but the separation you do between Carter and yourself is amazing. And
I'm
I
usually
can
fucking
do
laughing
that.
my tits off, trying not to. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, if
that's the biggest part of it, dude, is the disconnect. You know,
it's hard. It's harder though when you're not putting a voice on.
Yeah, I'm dog shit at accents. I don't, I try my best at times sometimes, but Carter, I slow down a little bit. So where I'm from in the UK, we talk very fast, right? And like I slow Carter down a little bit. Carter's tired, right? 24/7, right? He's just,
Yeah.
he doesn't have time for people's shit, right? He's been from the bottom. He's got to where he got to. He's down a few pegs again. He's done what he's done. Like, Carter's not in the gang, and I don't think I'll ever put Carter into a gang. Maybe because that character could never be a hang around. You know what I mean? He couldn't do the fucking go out and get fucking 5 swamp herbs. Like that's a waste of his talents, right? But I have Ali, who plays Bobby Burke, right? And her character is the fucking opposite. Happy, doesn't shut up. Question after question, doesn't like Carter loves silence, right? And it's just like I love playing like the grumpy old fuck, I'm me as hang around. That's true.
Yeah, I think it's
But see whenever there's like medical RP, I'm fucking laughing my tits off whenever I'm not talking,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the separation. It's like, because that ultimately that will get rid of the W mentality as well. Because you're no longer, you don't really care if you like, it's not you, is it?
I wanna encourage people, like coming into 4.0, it's not too late. It's not about how much money you have in your bank account. If you were a tooltip to helping you find some RP, go make yourself a new character. It was suggested by a lot of people, and it's not too late, to find, there's, if you're really trying to get after or be a part of a group, there's plots and stories and stuff that you go do, but go make yourself a new character and figure out the story that you want to portray and really, portray that and get lost in that. And I think that's what's been really big for me is like coming into Victor Cortez. I've had so much disconnect because it helps, like you said, the accents and playing someone, like I said, like Wyatt Ferguson for 3 years on Gold Rush, dude. I felt like I started playing my own self. The way I was an asshole, dude. Wyatt Ferguson was a jackass. He just talked to everyone how he felt like it, and did all. It was a complete switch, dude. When I hit Victor, it was like, whoa, I am lost in the sauce of this, and it was amazing. That's why I want to encourage people to really find some change. Get uncomfortable with the RP that and branch out.
Well, this is very good. So this is in the Artie's question from chat. What's the hardest part of your character right now to play?
Holy shit, dude. I think the hardest part was okay. So as Victor Cortez is his background and his lore is that he has 15 years into the Mexican army. He fought in the wars of Ciudad and obviously he took part in the attacks against America. I think the hardest part is that I play a character that is a brother to a high rebellion, and I play now being the general of the Mexican army, it's a huge toll, right? I'm being held to a certain image of Mexico, the face of Mexico's law enforcement. So I think that becomes the hardest part of my journey, is establishing a foundation where, and I'm doing my best to stay consistent with it and trying to build dedicated people for that, so we can have a perfect image of what we want on the borders. And I think to answer that question, it's got to be the military story that falls in line with being a brother to the High Rebellion of the Los Bandidos.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it pretty hard for me, is finding my balance. And it's becoming a little bit easier with the strong backbone. And I got to thank Mathia for everything that he's been doing, and the staff, and just the huge backbone that we've had for this lure from Mexico. It's making it to feel a little bit more easier, but it's a big image, being a part of the Mexican army. You're held to a higher standard to enforce fear into your nation and to withhold professionalism at the border. So I say that would probably be the hardest part, but I'm loving it, man. Dude, I'm itching. I'm itching, bro, to get my heroin right now to hop in. Like,
I'll give us like 3 or 4 months. Maybe I'll sell you some in character.
Victor on heroin. I don't know, dude. Our bridges might fall down. I need to get me some iron. The Van Horn.
Good
Chat.
shit,
Any other?
Yeah, come on, chat. Let's get some questions going. Stupid,
Lazy fucks.
serious.
Smokey, any questions for
Maybe
Benji or
something
me?
if you're like RPing that you need help with. I don't know. Just some opinions
I don't
being thrown your way.
Like, I just reading this one. What's been your favorite or most unexpected moment in RP?
Whatever, or just recently in 4.0?
I don't know. I just read that question. I guess y'all can answer that too. I mean,
Ever. Whoa.
That's
ever is insane.
That's
dude.
hard. That's hard.
I can think of a funny moment. It just came straight to
Well,
my
yeah.
head.
So best funny moment was probably me blowing up one of the first stills in 3.0.
That was crazy. That was funny.
Yeah. I think the stills might have been on the
Blew up
server.
a still.
Oh, like stills were like fucking rocking horse shit, right? And like a couple of royals, couple of like other gangs, like we pitched together, right? And we're on a fucking island, and this thing sparks are fucking pissing out of it. The temperature's like 1200 degrees, and then I fly back about 100 meters. Boom, and it's a big bang. So
it was mega. Yeah.
That's probably like the best funny moment. But like best overall, fuck, it's hard. It's hard, dude.
Unexpected. I can say I think it's even a clip on my Twitch. It was a long time ago. I think it was like 1.5 years ago. I was playing as the game wardens, trying to find my mesh when I first joined like 1.5 years ago as Wyatt Ferguson, and I was on patrol with Frederick Wakefield. There was a man named Dallas, and there was a Jack Taggart, some legendary game wardens, and we found a man, but we were coming down to Owengila, and we found a man that was boasting about robbing Sally Irwin, about his handcuffs. And Frederick Wakefield looks at the group and he's like, "Oh yeah, well, we're gonna teach you a lesson today. Game wardens, get off your horse." And I was like, "Oh fuck, dude."
Game warden gang.
Oh shit. I was like, yo, what the fuck is about to go on here? I was like, I'm a federal fucking game warden. Like, what am I doing? And I hear my Frederick Wakefield, the colonel at the time, he says, "Beat the living shit out of this man. Beat the fucking shit out of him and teach him a lesson for robbing Sally." And we went down there and fucking whooped his ass. And then, whooped him to a pulp, dude. And he's
fucking
like, "I'll never steal from a game wardens again. I'll never steal."
Fucking Virgil's like, corruption.
Yeah,
Actually,
dude.
I had a really good thing with game wardens in 3, right? I didn't really poach, but I just fucking did a bit of poaching, right? And I'm coming down from the Grizzlies, right? And then game wardens roll up on me, and like the guy fucking shoots my horse instantly, right? And then it's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh, that's a warning shot. And I was like, fucking, my Carter was shouting at him about like, you fucking shot my horse, right? Either way, the next day, I tell Mia's like, me and Carter are like, well, I'm her right hand, she's my right hand. We're a team, right? We go to the game wardens, we complain, they give us all this free shit. We got somebody fucking fired, It was fucking beautiful. Because they rode up and they fucking blasted my horse, right? Was I poaching? Yes, but
Oh man.
All right, thank you. Speaking of encouraging people to make new characters, what type of characters would you like to see in Mexico? More bandits down there, more civilians? I'm assuming you're gonna probably want more like army, right? Like
Dude,
mechanically.
we are inviting everyone, man. We want to see a full fledged, like a full, like just an amazing, like, dude, I could go back to like 1.0 and 2.0. And when I remember I was playing White at the time, he was actually a sheriff for New Austin Sheriff's Office. So I was on the other end of the border. But dude, the Mexican RP back in the day, like with Pepe and dude, I wish I knew all the legendary Mexican army. Y'all wouldn't know this, but like the Mexican army used to wear that game warden hat. And I would say, to reflecting to like how it is and what it is now being created is like I would want to invite anybody, whatever you want to do. If you want to play a Mexican main, there are plenty of businesses to be made all over Mexico. There's plenty enough room for in the Mexican army to come want to patrol Mexico, as the Mexican army will probably be, as of right now, the main law enforcement. And unless like Mexico just happens to get this amazing boom, maybe we'll see government officials and police. Yeah, I've spoken about that, which would be cool. But I think as right now we're seeing what will happen. But dude, we need doctor shamans. Like that would be, oh my goodness, man. We need doctors in Mexico is super important right now.
Yeah. Oh,
If
you crash a horse or die in Mexico, you're fucked.
You're fucked. You're fucked, dude. You're running around like Daisy at that point, dude.
yeah. Mia and Carter took a fucking wagon down there, and we got rolled up on by Lucky and some other guy, and he was like, "What the fuck? There's a wagon down here. What are you doing?" It's so fucking dodgy.
Oh shit, man. But yeah, dude, it's just generally we'd love to see like more civilians, and Mexico's really built right now. There's lots of different processing areas, lumber, mines, gem mines,
But would you agree?
produce.
Would you agree that like Mexico shouldn't have everything? Just like every town shouldn't have everything because it makes you have to go out. You know what I mean?
Yes, and no. Of course, we have to cross the border to gather like our produce and our meats and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff. What we've been kind of focused on is bringing groups to Mexico to come in and out to create RP within Mexico.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have some footholds over in America to create RP or criminal RP, of course. But yes, there's always going to be a cycle of going in or going into America and going out. There'll always be that. But for civilians that want to invest into Mexico, there's plenty of stuff to actually do and harvest and work, or businesses to be created in Mexico. So anybody can make any character they want coming into Mexico.
Yeah,
So.
it just makes you wish that Rockstar had a fucking developed Mexico, right?
Oh my gosh, dude. We had the damn like thousands of pronghorn running around out here, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like oh.
Chat, any more questions?
Chat's boring. Come on.
Fucking scared.
Come on, ask the question.
Anything yourself, Smokey, you want to ask or?
Man, I just want to say, man, I'm very it's a blessing to be able to be here, man. And it's really cool to see y'all are doing this podcast for Gold Rush. I've been with the community for several years, and I gotta say, dude, I mean, this community has always been my home.
Yeah.
Everybody's always got to dip into something different types of RP in different places, but Gold Rush has always been my home, and it's great to see that y'all are making a place where people's voices can be heard. Y'all can talk about lore, about lawmen, and other people's arcs and stories, and it's just such a great thing, man. And
it's fun.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Like the passion you have right now for roleplay is like it's up
Refreshing.
there, bro. It's like you don't meet many people like that. But if anyone in chat or anyone who watches this when it goes on YouTube, like if they can just take a bit of like inspiration and motivation for the passion you have for it and the things you said about it, then like we're winning, bro. We're winning.
Yeah, and like I think people have to understand that like, okay, some people might like get to log on like 2 or 3 hours a night, and they think, oh, I've got to go and grow some swamp, or don't be afraid to just walk around and just talk to people. Like I think that's a big part as well. You don't have to be always mechanical. You can just go and chat shit.
Yeah.
Because fuck knows what you could get kidnapped out of it. Like you could fucking find someone who's got some of your interests. You could get pulled this way, that way.
Right. Is that it? Need 2 hours. Damn, you guys saw.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Benji was
2
like,
hours of
yeah,
rambling.
let's keep this about an hour.
About an hour, yeah, an hour and a half max. But here we are. Nah, I enjoyed
Yeah.
it, bro.
You know-
That's good.
Benji,
Thank you.
I've always respected the RP that I've had with you, even in this community and off this community. I've always respected your group, and how y'all handle things in RP, especially like criminal conflict wise. The way that y'all like do your standoffs and the way that you make the lasting effect of a conflict instead of everything always being gunfights. There's a draw out to it, and I always respected you and your group for always doing that, man. And you're talking about me and Native that have been shining a lantern. You and Carter, y'all are shining lanterns too, man, and that's to be seen, man. And I couldn't thank y'all enough, for being a part of this. And dude, we just need people to stand up and really get after it in RP, man. Really get immersed in these roles. Don't forget, this is a whitelisted. It's time to rest in peace the strays. But, it's
God damn, we're still alive, baby. We ain't dead yet.
Jesus Christ.
rest in peace AP.
All right. Right. Well, we'll leave it there.
I
Right.
appreciate the kind words, bro. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Chat. Next Monday, we are looking. Are you a native main, fucking doctor main, civilian, like something that isn't like criminal law right now? Don't be lazy cunts. Fucking DM me on Discord, Benji on Discord. It's a chat. We're not gonna make you cry. Hopefully, But yeah, we're just looking at anybody who's from like natives, doctors, civilians, business owners, just another subsection of the community overall.
Si, senor.
Like
Hola, amigo.
anyone like civs or whatever. If any of you out there,
You don't
like,
even have to be Mexican.
no. If any of you out there like want to have a little chat about like what you'd like as a role player to see from people in Gold Rush, and like we're all here to help each other. Like if we know what you want and anyone watching knows, then I'm sure the people of Gold Rush, especially in the 4.0 environment, will go out their way to try and give that to people. That's the whole point in this. We're building a better roleplay experience for everybody, not just one person.
And here's another thing, chat. We're gonna get Mafia on. We're gonna grill the fuck out of him because Mafia loves leaking shit. Get all the fucking juice out of him.
We'll know everything about 5.0.
Yeah. Mafia can't fucking hold anything. We're gonna get him. And we're gonna fucking just grill him.
Oh man, the
Yeah.
goat, the goat.
DM either me or Car Ajax.